Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Chat EBT. I'm your host, Mohammed Ibrahim Tayab. Now, the world is centered around social media, and my guest today is going to tell us a little bit about that. Please welcome to the show, Faizan Abdurrahman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you so much for having me on your show, Chat EBT.
No, it's our pleasure, man.
Very, I would say, very excited to be on this platform, as I've been seeing it on Instagram all this time. And today's my turn, and I'm here today.
No, lovely, man. We're so happy to have you. So thanks for joining us.
No, of course.
Right. So, Faizan, as I understand, you've entered into this world of entrepreneurship, but obviously right now you're in social media marketing.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to this place right now.
Okay, so before I go into the social media part, and before I come to face this digital world, I just want to rewind a little bit back, going to my first business that was officially registered and operating in South Africa. After COVID-19, I opened a business by the name of Rafa's Accessories.
Okay.
So Rafa's Accessories, actually Rafa stands for my dad, which is Rashad, my sister, which is Razana, Romana, and Rasia. And then we have the A, which is our surname, Abdul Rahman.
Okay.
And then we have the F for myself and my mom, which is Faizan and Farana.
Okay.
And obviously the A for Abdul Rahman as well. So we're sitting one day and just deciding and seeing, that what the market and the economy, it was actually all messed up because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
So I was doing some research on, AliExpress and Takealot and whatever, and I came across this thing on TikTok and saw that the new in thing that came to, I think it was China, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't in South Africa as yet, where you could take a picture of yourself and print it on a phone cover.
Oh, okay, that's quite interesting.
So I said to myself, let me do some homework and try and get it. And it was just my luck. I was taking a walk one day in one of the malls, and I saw a gentleman doing it. And I approached him and I said, can we do some business because I'm interested in doing this thing. Bear in mind, I was at the age of 15 years old only.
Oh, okay, so you entered entrepreneurship very young.
Yeah, so I said to myself, I just take the risk. I didn't know what was registering a company. I didn't know what was a proper bank account of a business. I knew nothing. But thanks to my dad, my mom, and all my family behind all of this, I managed to do it. It ran for about a year or 2 years. And then I closed it down because then again, with competition in today's times, once people try to find trends and whatever, it takes over and you can't really keep up with it in that perspective. And then I had school as well.
Yeah.
So I needed to focus more on my grade 11 and my matric.
Oh, okay. So now you're out of school, right? You're trying to figure out, the next step, right?
Yeah.
Why social media marketing?
Okay, so when it comes to this year, from childhood, I always liked to do business. It was my passion. In school, I'd sell marbles during break. I'd sell spinning tops during break, I was always that kid, instead of having lunch in my lunch then, I'd have marbles in my lunch then. Because in school, you weren't allowed to sell anything. But I used to do it from behind. And then it came to a point where I actually wanted to do business management and marketing management.
Oh, okay.
Those two things. And I sat down one day with a student advisor from my university, which is IMM, graduate school. And she advised me and said, what, why don't you take business admin, because it gives you an opportunity to go into the entire business industry. So you have your HR, you have your sales, you have your digital marketing, your marketing management, all those things within one boundary. Then I said, okay, fine, I'll go ahead with that. And then I just continued going, researching. And my mom would tell me, what, we need a message for Eid, for example, or we need a Ramadan message, for example. And I'll go into my apps and I'll do my thing or whatever. And then I said to myself, but you know what? I do have the skills for this, and I should just take the next step and see if I can do it. And then a friend of mine and myself, we from grade R up until now, we're studying the same degree, same course, everything, whatever. He actually found a job out of university while studying, but a sideline job. And he said to me, I'm doing this marketing and it's really amazing. So I said to him, no, but I also want to do the same thing, and can you get me in, or can we try and do something? And unfortunately, it's a bit difficult in today's times to get any job because firstly, we're not properly qualified, we're still studying.
Yeah.
And also age. Age is another thing on us because we don't have the experience. So I said, let me just go in and do my own thing and take the risk. I've been doing it all my life. and why not try it now?
I'm very glad you actually said that, right? Because I think that puts a lot of people off, right? In the sense that, a lot of people will go into something and say, oh, you know what? There's so many people doing this. How can I enter? It's not worth my time, or I won't be successful because there's too many people doing it. I'm too young, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, I'm still studying. When you were at that point and you decided, okay, you know what, I'm still going to go for it, right? Tell us what was going through your mind then, and what would you say pushed you to say, you know what, no matter what, I have these, maybe, let's call them disadvantages, although they aren't, but I'm not going to let them deter me. I'm going to keep pushing on.
So, firstly, I'd say you must believe in yourself. That's number one. And then, secondly, the support from my mom and my dad. That was something truly amazing where they stood behind me from the beginning, even though it's still the beginning. I'm not where I want to be.
Mhm.
And obviously, believing in Allah. When you believe in Allah and you put your trust in Him, everything comes your way. You don't know where it comes from, but it just comes. And as a youngster, what I'd like to say is if you discipline yourself now, you'll have your freedom later.
I like that. Very true.
So that's what encouraged me. And also when it comes to my small sisters, I mean, sometimes they come from school and say, listen, we need to do this for a teacher for a presentation. Obviously their mind and my mind is different, so I take it in my way and say, you know what, let me do it this way, it's best. I like it this way, this is more presentable, whatever, whatever. And when you asked me about terms of encouraging and disadvantages and stuff like that, there are a lot of people doing marketing out there. A lot. Especially digital marketing. When I say digital, I mean content creation, I mean graphic designing, whatever. But obviously, we dare to compete, but I'm not there to compete in a negative way. I'm out there, for example, if you're doing digital marketing and I'm doing digital marketing, I want us to work together.
Mhm.
I don't want you to grow, I want myself to grow. I don't want to be a selfish person saying, if I eat the sandwich, you can't eat the sandwich. We should eat
Very
it
true.
together.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, in today's times, you don't get much of those people.
No, you don't.
But we got to do what we got to do. And Islam teaches us that at the end of the day.
No, it's actually a very good practice that I think a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't do that, unfortunately. But it's something that, honestly, it needs to get done. It needs to be done because, like you said, if you can grow and grow somebody else at the same time, why not?
No, of course. And coming back to our Prophet ﷺ, he taught us this. He always taught us to look out for others, encourage others, support others, and that's what we try and do and we strive because at the end of the day, we all servants of Allah. We're only here to serve. This is not our home, this is not our place.
Mhm.
We're only in transit in this world.
Yeah, very true.
So, yeah.
So I mentioned earlier, like specifically why social media? Because marketing, obviously, like you said, it's quite broad, right? You can actually go into a business and perhaps be an on-site consultant and do advertising for them or so on and so forth. But digital marketing has become quite a big thing, especially social media marketing,
Yeah.
right? So for you, what drew you to social media itself?
So look, I love social media, right? Especially Instagram and TikTok. If you see me every night on TikTok, I'm out with my friends, we're doing lives, we're talking, I have a friend who lives overseas in Portugal. He tells me what's happening there. We communicate and do whatever. And then I said to myself, you know what, the insights on social media, especially Instagram and TikTok, it's truly amazing. Like, when it comes to views, when it comes to interactions, when it comes to sales. Also, another thing is I feel social media drives you towards your sales and all of those kind of stuff. Why I say this is, if you go into someone's Instagram profile, a business for example, you can just click the link in the bio and you're automatically onto their website. If not the website, you're automatically onto their store.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going out on Safari or Google or Chrome or whatever and searching and stuff like that, you just tap and you're directly into the store. You just choose whatever you want to do, payment, and you're out.
No, it's actually true. It's a very
So,
easy
and
sort of
again,
transition.
when it comes with artificial intelligence, which is AI, a lot of people get the misunderstanding of AI and say, yeah, but we can just create an ad on AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can. I'm not saying no. Yes, you can. But there's a way of doing it. And that way of doing it is a secret that I won't share today. But
100%.
there is a way of doing it. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me and say, no, it's the same thing, it's the same thing. Trust me, it's not. It's really not the same thing because there's many ways where you can use AI, and sometimes some designs I do personally, they look like they're from AI, but they're not from AI.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
So, yeah.
So in terms of your business itself, right? I want to hire you now. How does the whole process work? If you can talk us through.
Okay, so basically, how it works is I tell clients or companies if they want me to do their marketing, I go out and be like, listen, I can do your marketing for you. Obviously, we meet up, we draw a contract, they sign, I sign, we agree on terms and conditions, whatever the case is. But I make it clear to them to say that, listen, if I'm working, for example, Chat EBT, I won't be only with Chat EBT. I'll come in maybe 3 days a week, but I have other clients I look at as well on the side, because I don't want to limit myself only to one industry when I can go into, for example, the food
Yeah.
industry, then we go into the car industry, then we can go into all, for example, hotels, and then obviously sport industry. There's a lot you can go into. So I don't want to keep myself limited to only one industry when I can go into all, and I know I have the energy for all. So this is how I operate. For example, I have 1 or 2 clients now that are company based and schools and stuff that I do marketing for. But on the side, I also do for a few restaurants, a few individual people, where clients will message and say, listen, we got this thing coming in tomorrow that we need to print or whatever, can you design it for us? And then that's how I do it on the sideline.
But in the sense of like, is it a specific amount of times a week? Like in your, I'm sure this is in your terms and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
what you agreed, right? But say let's use Chat EBT as an example because we are right. So if I wanted to hire you to be a social media consultant for me, or to do my posting for me for this matter, right? How would you approach chatting to me about it?
Okay, so firstly, obviously, it's not going to be an everyday thing because I don't think you're in studio every single day
No.
unless, okay, say hypothetically you are in studio every day. Then obviously I'll come in 3 days because you're going to be a 5 days. So I'll come in 3 days a week and say, listen, Ibrahim, on day one, you need to tell me what are we doing this week so I can prepare all the adverts for all the guests that are coming in. Then I'll come in on the second day and say, listen, all your things are out now and this is how it's been finalized and done. And then on the third day, obviously, when I come in, I'll show you your reports for that week and say, listen, our viewers are this much, our followers are this much, this is how we're moving. Are you happy? Do you want to change something? All those kind of stuff. And what I do is with my clients, a lot of them, well, a lot of people tend to change designs more than a million times. Especially our Indian aunties. They're like, no, we want it there. And then at the end, they end up using the first one after you've changed it 100 times. So what I do is just as a company policy, I keep my changing to a limit of 2 to 3 changes.
Okay.
And thereafter that, I charge another fee.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it comes down to time. It comes down to look at other clients as well. So that's how I operate.
Okay. I've always had this sort of, maybe it's a misconception, let's say, right? Is that obviously, you hear about social media and how you need to be very active with it, right? So although, like you mentioned, I might not be in studio 5 days a week, but it's something that you need to continuously post about, maybe, post about past
update
interviews
people,
or,
yeah.
and just keep content flowing out. But I've always sort of had that thing that, sometimes I feel like I might be in people's faces way too much, you know? What are some of the misconceptions around social media posting that people might be a little bit hesitant about? People that want to start advertising with more of their businesses in that, but they just feel like they don't want to, I'm trying to find the word here.
They don't want to overflow the market.
Yeah, overflow the
basically.
market, or be in people's faces the whole time, or get people irritated because I'm seeing Ibrahim again on Instagram.
So what we do is when you come to us, and I know a lot of companies do this, marketing companies and individuals, we draw up a plan for you. We draw up a strategy for you to say, listen, firstly, we look at your platforms. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, and if you're on a business account, we go and check your most viewed times. So for example, from my understanding and my view from what I saw, the best time to post is between 6 in the morning up until 3 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Because why I say that is 6 in the morning, you get up, the first thing you grab is your phone.
Yeah, very true.
You go, you check your notifications, whatever, and then around 10, 11, most companies have tea time also on their phones again. And then lunchtime is around 12 till 2. Again, people are on their phones. And then once you go home by around 4, 5 o'clock, you just want to switch off and, just want to relax. Sometimes you can post at night, depending on what you're going to post. Like you said, you don't want to overflow the market. So what I do is I try and keep my posting. It depends on the package of the client. If a client wants maybe 8 posters a month. I spread it out to be 2 posters a week.
Okay.
So I won't go and put you 8 one time. Or what I do is on social media, you can schedule post.
Mm-hmm.
So you can schedule post maybe for the entire month of April. I'll schedule post. So on that day, even though I'm busy somewhere else or I forget about it, I'm just saying hypothetically, I'll go on Instagram on my personal and be like, oh, this is already posted because I already set it up for you. And I have certain goals that I want to try and achieve for companies. And shukr alhamdulillah, since I've started, we have achieved them.
No, that's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned insights previously, right? So obviously, Instagram you mentioned has great insights, right? What should people be looking at when it comes to the insights? Because I think and again, it goes to the misconception, right? And I think a lot of people focus on views, right? What is the important things that they need to be looking at when they are looking at the insights?
Okay, so the first one, like you mentioned, is views, because obviously you need to see if people are actually looking at your things or not. Number one. Number two is you need to see if your followers are increasing or decreasing. Like just between us now that we're sitting here and speaking about it, I had a client who came to me and I was actually scared to take him on because he's kind of a big person, and he said to me, listen, I only have 19 followers and in 2 weeks time I needed to be on say 100. So I said to him, look, it's a very short period, but we can get there. Because obviously for me, I'm still new to the industry, like fully with my company and whatever. So it was risk for me once again. But instead of getting 100, we ended up getting 300 in those matter of 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it all comes down to your posting again, what people want to see. I mean, you don't want to see the same colors all the time, the same pictures all the time. You want to keep everything unique and different for every post. For example, if you're working with an electrical company and they have an advert on floodlights, you don't want the next advert to be on the same color as the floodlights. You want to change that to maybe a DB box and change the color maybe to yellow. And floodlights, keep it on white or dark blue. So those things there, it catches people's eye. Even if they don't read it, it caught their eye. They already know that, for example, this electrical company, oh, they do this, they do that, whatever. You know, so it's not only focused on one thing.
That's actually very interesting. A very big controversy, and I've heard multiple, controversy is probably the wrong word, but I've heard multiple conflicting opinions about this around boosting posts.
Okay.
Right? What's your opinion about it?
So, personally, a lot of people have the misconception of, oh, we have to boost for 1,000 rand, 500 rand, 10,000 rand, 20,000 rand. I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in boosting at all?
No, I believe in boosting, but I don't believe in spending so much in boosting. Okay, so I would say, and I always encourage my clients, personally, we do post boosting from our side, but I wouldn't do it because I don't know what my client's budget is. So I prefer my client doing the post boosting. A lot of them, they come to me and say, listen, yeah, but you know, I still have to post boost for another 1,000 rand or 2,000 rand. I tell them straight, no, you don't need to. You need to boost for as low as 35 rand, 25 rand, 30 rand.
Okay.
And those things there that you do actually make a big difference to your business.
But so the misconception maybe that I've heard is around the fact that if you do boost, and I might be very wrong in this, right? So please correct me if I am. If you do boost, then let's say the social media brand, let's say Instagram for the sake of this conversation, doesn't necessarily naturally put out your content because it knows you're willing to pay to put your content out there. So you know how generally Instagram would send you a post to say 1,000 people, right? Random according to the algorithm, right? If you start boosting, Instagram doesn't do that anymore unless you boost, because essentially the idea here is that, oh, you're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, so they want to make money off you basically. So I've also heard about that and I've seen it, but then again it comes down to what you post, in my opinion. So if you're going into, for example, Instagram and you're posting for maybe 35 rand or 40 rand a day or whatever the thing is, it does its job. And I've seen that. I saw views go from 20 to 20,000 in a day. And a lot of people say what you said now, but then again, there are challenges in digital marketing. I'm not going to lie, there's negatives, there's positives, and I think that's in all businesses. Every business has a challenge. If there's no challenge, you're not going to be able to grow.
Yeah, very true.
You have to fight those challenges to, grow. But coming down to our designing work and whatever the case is, even if Instagram doesn't do it for you, we try and do it for you, because we give our utmost best in designing, in our videos, in our advertising, in our story-based posting, whatever the case is. And also, as we speak right now, we have a giveaway going on right now at our company. So we're encouraging other businesses to come towards us, and we're willing to give them 1 week of free social media management and a few videos for free, as well as posters, and that's just fully on the house from Phases Digital World.
Right. How do people get hold of you? If they want to get in contact with you to be able to take over this.
So to get a hold of me is on Instagram. I have a personal account, which is my Faizan Abdul Rahman account, and then I have obviously my company account, which is Phases Digital World. Normally, I tell people to just pop me an email. My email is on there, and if I don't tend to read the email, sometimes it gets so hectic, I would prefer direct message on Instagram, or if you know me personally, just personal WhatsApp or whatever the case is, and then we take it from there.
All right, lovely. And you mentioned earlier something about packages. So explain to us the different packages you have.
Okay, so I have packages, but I don't have prices to them.
Okay.
Reason is I don't have prices to them is based on the content. Sometimes you get people that don't need to pay so much because their business is not in that field as yet. Then again, we're coming back to try and help them to grow. So I charge based on your content, on your business, on how much you can afford.
Okay.
So if you come to me and say, listen, my budget is 2,000 Rand, I won't charge you the full 1,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand. I'll charge you maybe 1,400 and tell you, listen, Ibrahim, keep the 600 Rand. From there, take out 200 for the month and post.
Okay.
And also another thing behind my packages, I have 3 packages. And the first one is the gold package. It's called the Rash package because of my father, Rashad.
Okay, lovely.
And then I have the Farah package, which is it's a silver package because of my mom, Farana. And then my 3 sisters, I have a Razam Rasi package, which is their 3 names combined, Razana, Romana, and Rasia. So those packages are based on my mom, my dad, and my sisters, which I came up with as my own idea.
Yeah, lovely.
And that's my packages. And I do also do individual materials as well. Like, for example, single posters, single videos, single adverts, all those kind of stuff, we do them.
No, that's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
This is a question that I ask, everybody in our interviews, right? And it's always very nice to see the different responses we get, right? So the first one is, what message do you want people to take away from this interview today?
So there's actually 2 things I'd like to say. Number 1 is believe in yourself, like I mentioned in the beginning, and always help and always give people. Even if you don't have, just give. This is just what I've come up with in the last 2 years. Just give, just believe in yourself, and don't be afraid to start. Because once you start, there's no stopping. And don't give up. Continue going and going and going. Remember, even in a year, if you went from 10 followers to 25 followers, the fact is you improved.
Very true.
You've got those followers. It's not where you went from 10 to 2. Even if you went from 10 to 2, it doesn't mean it's a goodbye. Because I believe failure means first attempt in life.
I like that very much. Thank you.
So when it goes to failure, it's first attempt in life. That's why whenever people fail, you see it in school. A lot of learners sometimes, unfortunately, they fail or whatever the case is. You don't need to say, I'm useless, I'm not, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. No, it's a first attempt in life.
Brilliant. I'm going to use that, by the way. I hope you don't mind.
No, of course.
I'll pay you the royalties.
No.
Don't worry about it. But no, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Look, this question might be a little bit interesting because, you're very young. And so it's interesting to see your response on this. But the question is, if you had to go back to any part in your life and give yourself a bit of advice, when would you go back to and what would you tell yourself?
To be honest, I'd go back to, how can I say this? I'll go back to before I actually came up into this business thing. And To be honest, I actually don't regret anything because my dad, my grandfather, both my grandfathers, they've always coached me and taught me things. And I'll mention it again. I think he was in your studio, Riyad from the Creamery.
Yeah.
Riyad and he's always taken me as a baby brother from
Such a
young.
great guy, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, from young. And whenever, even when it's time for the Creamery and whatever, he'd always, motivate me and tell me, no, go this way, do this, do that. And then when I went back to my father and my grandfather, I said, listen, this is the advice I got. This is what Riyad said. What you all think, does that? And I was like, no, it's the right way. Continue going. So I won't really go rewind back in time, but I'll actually take steps and go forward. And I actually appreciate a lot that Riyad has told me before. And there's many others, but specifically him because he was always there for me and always told me things and always stood out, and guided me. And also, like I mentioned, my father. My father is a big role. My dad always, he was there to motivate me and he always stood behind me. And then comes my mom. Obviously, without a mother's prayers,
Yeah.
you're
very
nowhere
true.
in this world. And I'm fortunate, alhamdulillah, I still have both my parents. I have my family. Many youngsters in today's times, they don't have their parents, unfortunately, which is challenges they face. But I always mention to those youngsters that guys my age and older and younger, we should always unite, always be together.
Very true.
Coming again to Islam, it tells us we should be brothers.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
I think that you touched on something very nice there, which I think a lot of people overlook, is that, getting advice from people is so important. And I think a lot of people, as they grow, feel like, okay, what, I think I should be doing this on my own, or, I shouldn't be, listening to other people. I know my business best. But I think getting that outside opinion, getting that advice from people that have that life experience, even young people like yourself, because I think a lot of people will shy away from getting advice from a young person. But in essence, you have a very fresh perspective. You're seeing the world in a very different way that me, who's maybe set in my ways, is blocked from.
Yeah.
So I think, being able to have that ability to take advice, which you do have, is a great strength. So
Yeah,
I think that's something to really commend.
And I also believe in every day you learn something.
100%.
You don't ever stop learning, whether old, young. For example, if I'm doing something wrong, tomorrow a child could come from grade 3 or grade 4 and tell me, listen, you're doing this wrong, this is the right way to do it. I'll kindly accept it and move on because maybe they're viewing something I am not viewing. Or for example, I tell you something or you tell me something, or even if I tell my grandfather or he tells me, it's about learning.
Yeah.
You don't ever stop learning. Every day you learn about something new, and that's how you overcome challenges as well.
No, brilliant. Hazan, thank you so much for
No.
joining us today. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. I've always, social media is something, I won't lie to you, I'm a little bit terrified of, and I think a lot of people are terrified of. So to get this
Yeah.
insight from you has actually been a great experience.
No, jazakallah.
We wish you honestly the best. Like I said, I love your philosophy in the sense of, you want to grow, but you want to grow other people with you. I
Yeah.
think that's brilliant.
No,
So
inshallah.
inshallah that continues,
Ameen,
and we
ameen.
wish you and your business the most of success, and
Ameen.
inshallah we'll have you many more times on the show.
No, I mean, inshallah, and jazakallah to you as well for hosting me, and it was amazing, truly amazing to be on this platform of Chat EBT.
No, lovely. Thank you. All right, that's our show. As we mentioned, social media, it's a little bit scary. Sometimes it's a little bit unknown, but it was really interesting to get a behind the scenes peek at how this whole thing works. I definitely learned something. I'm hoping you did too. Once again, you're watching Chat EBT. My name is Mohammed Ibrahim Tayyab, and until next time.